Okay, this is going to be a demo of my recently finished Marauder style guitar. It has 3 lace gold pickups. They're custom lace ones because lace usually comes in black or white as far as the cover color. Um, I guess they named this set the Testarossa set because of being red, like a Ferrari, and it fits my color scheme really well. I'm going to go through the different sound settings so you can get a sample of what they sound like. Um, this is a normal Jazzmaster kind of wiring setup as far as this lets you have all these controls. Up only has it through these 2 pots, which is a 1 meg and a 50, just like a Jazzmaster. It's just a different shape plate and a different orientation for the switch. I wired it so up is this circuit, down is normal everything else. And then standard volume and tone, although I don't tend to mess with those. These switches. This is the neck pickup on switch, middle pickup switch, and bridge pickup switch. I have it set right now so down is on, so that way if you're playing and you hit them and knock it, you're not going to knock them all off by accident. The worst case is you would add another pickup. These switches, this top one is a phase switch, so when I have it down, the middle pickup is in phase with everything else. If I flip this up, it makes the middle pickup out of phase with the neck or the bridge, so you can get an out of phase sound. This lower switch here is a series switch where I put the bridge and the middle in series like a humbucker. Lace pickups are noiseless anyway. The only noise you're hearing right now is probably just power noise, because, yeah. Anyway, because my pickups are off right now, so there's no noise from the pickups. The lower area is volume and tone, and then this little guy down here is the high pass filter that you'd see in a Jaguar. I don't notice any sound difference. I mean, I'll record it, but you guys can be the judge. I figure I'll go through each pickup individually. I'll do the series switch, then I will do out of phase sound, and then I'll show the kind of Jazzmaster sound, and that should be good. Alright, let's do the bridge pickup first. I just turned it on, as you can hear. It's quiet. Something to say too about these. I know a lot of people aren't fans of lace pickups. They think they're kind of bland. I really like gold pickups. They're at about 9K resistance. They're supposed to sound like basically a old-fashioned Strat. Every single one of them is the same strength as far as output, so you can put them in any combination, sort of like how the first Strats, I believe, all 3 pickups were the same. So you could put there wasn't really a neck pickup or a bridge, it's just the position the pickup is in. So that's the bridge pickup. The middle pickup. I think they sound a lot like a Strat pickup, really, honestly. They sound a lot like a single coil pickup, except there's no noise. If you're a person who loves single coil pickups and hasn't tried lace, I would try these golds. I have them in a Strat too. Okay, neck pickup. Combinations. All right, so this is the bridge and middle normally. Kind of sounds like that strat position, right? That people kind of like. They call it a quacky sound with the bridge in the middle together. Now, with the bridge in the middle on, if I turn on the series switch, so the output, instead of parallel, series kind of doubles the output, right? Off. Out of phase. In phase. Out of phase again. Okay, let's do neck and middle. Out of phase. In phase. Huge difference with phase and out of phase. Okay. I guess I'll go back to the bridge and middle. Here's the high pass filter switch. So I've had I guess I can notice it cutting a little bit of bass out, but it's not really significantly noticeable. Maybe through distortion it would be more noticeable. Yeah, kind of cuts a teeny amount of bass. I used a 1500 UF 0.0015, I think, value capacitor, which isn't the same as a JAG's supposed to have, but that was supposed to give me more of an effect, noticeable effect. It's very slight to my ears. I mean, this was normally a kill switch in the Marauder, so it's not like I really lost out on anything. It just means I can't just flip the switch and make it mute. And I can do that just by turning the switches off. So, maybe in series, if I have those in series. I noticed the bass cut a little bit more in series than I do in parallel. It's like very slight. So I mean, it's there. I don't know that I'll use it. That's why I kind of figured I would put it down here by the jack, since I don't tend to use the strangle switch anyway. Alright, upper switch. So now, this was a huge pain in the butt. Actually, all the wiring was because I shielded it with shielding paint. And of course, when you have shielding paint, if any of your pots or switches or sometimes part of a switch hits that shield, it kills it or it grounds a good chunk of the signal. And so it was a real big pain adjusting and bending and moving things around to get things lined up where they weren't touching the shielding in all of the cavities, honestly. It was a pain. This was also a pain because unlike a normal Jazzmaster or Jaguar, there's only one screw holding this pot where it's supposed to be. And even with double stick tape and stuff like that, it still doesn't sit very well. And so it's really hard to adjust. Plus, I painted these red to make it match the rest of it. And the paint is scraping off because it's rubbing against the plate. So, little kind of whiny, complaining parts. I also had to kind of route the body a little bit. Not route, but I used a Dremel because my pots were hitting the side of the wall here, so the switch wouldn't sit flat. I mean, you can't see it because the pickguard and the plate are flush. Um, I did reshield the part that I Dremeled. I had to take a little bit off for these pots to sit where they're supposed to be. So a little bit of tweaking, nothing that you see with the plates on, but stuff that was kind of frustrating because if you're hoping for just to drop it in and wire it up, it was not that. Um, anyway, so up engages these and just the neck pickup, regardless of what those switches and stuff are at. So now if I just turn on the bridge pickup, so now it's just the lower one. And then through these pots. The pots are essentially identical, other than this is a 50K pot instead of a 1 meg. This is a 1 meg, and the two lower ones I have as 1 meg. So it shows a difference that changing that tone pot value out does. The nice thing is, it's not too muddy. Totally usable. I imagine it would probably sound pretty killer with fuzz. Sometimes having like a really bassy tone sounds really good with a fuzz pedal. I mean, if you're trying to do, Jazz Masters, right, were made for jazz, for doing like blues solos and stuff like that, so I think it would actually work really well for that purpose. The normal neck pickup sound. Just takes out some of the high end. It's more noticeable in these upper strings. So, gives you a ton of different sound options, right? I didn't even play with volume and changing the tone with the knobs. That's just with the switches only, which makes it kind of fun. I mean, if you're a person who likes having, I would call it like a Swiss Army guitar, because you can get like a humbucker sound with this guitar. You can get a single coil sound with this guitar, depending on how you have the switches set. You can get a bluesy jazz sound out of it by how you hit switch. You can get it out of phase for like a really like lo-fi tinny sound, if you're going for that sound with the phase switch. I don't know that I would say the strangle switch is a thing that I would put in if there wasn't already a switch there, and I was like, well, a kill switch is kind of a waste of a switch for me, when you can just turn the pickups off pretty easily by using those switches. But it does a little bit of a sound difference. If you're a strangle switch lover, you've got that. I really like the Mooncaster headstock from Warmouth. I know it's not exactly a Marauder headstock, but it's pretty close. The faction plates, funny enough, my classic player tremolo would not fit into it. My Japanese tremolo did. I had a leftover Japanese tremolo that I switched out on a Japanese Jazz Master to put an American tremolo in, and that fit. But my classic player one, which I think is more US sized than the Japanese one, would not fit in the faction plate. I haven't tried it with a tremolo arm, because I don't tend to use a tremolo a lot anyways. It does have a Mustang bridge. Let's see. Other than that, it's got a cool Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark neck plate with the little bloody hand there. I was singing with the Blood Moon theme, that the hand dripping with blood, like people that play so much that their hands bleed. Thought that would be kind of a fun effect. I painted it with Krylon spray paint. Um, they're kind of like primer and painter all in one spray paint, white. And then I used Krylon's matte finish clear. That's why it has kind of a chalky color to it. It's matte finish, which I actually like that kind of a finish on a guitar. Um, it kind of feels like an egg, like an eggshell. Um, the pickguard was made by Chris, I believe, at Sonic Chris, I think is his username. But anyway, Texas Toast Guitars. He does stuff there. He made the pickguard, and I believe he made this body too. Faction made the plates. Lace made the pickups. Warmoth made the neck. I have Goto tuners because I like them better than the standard Clusen ones. I don't know. I mean, my personal preference. Tusk nut. And I think it's Pau Ferro wood, which actually is really pretty. It's not as dark as rosewood. It's way better than the Fender ones that were using Pau Ferro, however you say it, for their fretboards. It's kind of a reddish brown. It's a real pretty wood. It's, especially with these red pickups. I didn't pick it on purpose. It was a showcase neck, so it was already made and ready to go. It has that fretboard overhang a little bit. Normally I don't order that, but with this it actually looks good because it gives the illusion of the neck being closer to that neck pickup because it goes over the pickguard a little bit. So yeah, that's probably more information than you wanted to know. It's a little bit longer demo than normal, but this took me a really long time to wire and get working correctly, so I don't know. I kind of felt like doing that. The pickups are mounted to the body with foam underneath for height adjustment, sort of like a Jaguar and Jazzmaster would normally be mounted. It doesn't have the claws that Jazzmasters have around the pickups, so that's why it looks like there's a little bit of gap on the top and bottom of the pickups, because there is one that's cut. The pickguard's cut for Jaguar pickups, which are a little bit wider because of that metal claw that's normally around them, but these don't need it, and it wouldn't really do anything except for, I guess, a visual aesthetic, and I don't know how well they would fit over the top of these lace pickups anyway. I just figured I would just put the lace pickups in and call it good. Overall, while it was a pain in the butt, I'm pretty happy with how it sounds. Just took adjusting mostly because of the shielding paint. I think 90% of my problems was because I shielded it, which I'm like, well, it's noiseless pickups, but it's good to shield your guitar. But this plate actually has paper towel inside of it. I basically just wadded a paper towel and squished it so that way the switches wouldn't touch the shielding in the bottom. The shielding is still grounded because it's all connected anyway. It's just the paper towel helps keep the switches from touching the shielding paint. Up in here, normally when you put in these pots, the three parts are pointing down into the body. I have them rotated towards each other because they were bottoming out and touching the shielding paint, which was causing it to short out. And then this one, I had to bend the prongs of the switch a little bit, the strangle switch, because the wire was touching the edge of the shielded cavity, and it was screwing up the way the pickup sounded. So, little tweaks and some paper towels fixed it. But, yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Anyway, hope you enjoyed and stuck around to hear how this thing came together.